Well, welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a glorious day, my friends. It's a glorious red dildo day. The ruggening has begun. The ruggening is here, and the ruggening is here to fuck you out of your doggy coins, fuck you out of your bitcoins, and fuck you out of your Buterolls coins. Cryptos as well. Anyways, we got plenty to talk about today in a more sincere tone. I'll dial down the old rigmarole here, but there actually is a lot of things to talk about in the higher term time frame, specifically for Bitcoin. A lot of things have actually changed, or actually not changed, but more importantly, a lot of the things that we've been speaking about for the past couple weeks here are starting to finally come to fruition, and this is why patience is yet again a virtue in the trading world. So with that said, I would like to wish you a happy and healthy start to your Thursday. Is it Thursday? Is it Thursday? What the fuck day is it? It's the 13th. Let's see what the calendar says. It's Thursday. Hey, nice. It doesn't matter what fucking day it is. Bitcoin's always moving, and that liquidation engine doesn't care what goddamn day it is, whether it's weekday, whether it's a holiday, whether it's a weekend, whatever the fuck it might be. It is time to get into some magic internet money, and what do we see over here on the Krown Chain application, which can be found at app.krowngenie.net. It is 100% free, and you can take your own free account whenever the fuck you want. Anyways, with that said, we do see a lot of things of interest right now. There's two extremely important things, actually three extremely important things on the dashboard. Actually, not necessarily on the dashboard, but more importantly in the market data tab. But we can see a couple of them right here on the dashboard. Number one would be the fear and greed index coming all the way down to a 31. This is one of the lowest reads that we have seen in the past almost year now, since realistically summer of the year 2020. More importantly, on top of that, we do see that open interest come down about $1 billion, from 10 billion to the upside to now 9 billion to the downside. This is exactly what we have been waiting for. Essentially, what this does imply is that this last move was longs taking profits within the context of the higher term time frame range. However, the higher term time frame range has not been broken, and more importantly, or at least I will not be changing my general opinion on Bitcoin, essentially looking for a macro reversal until we see something very specific on the open interest related to price action. What is that? Same shit that we've been looking for, or been talking about for the past few weeks here, and that is I want to see open interest shoot up, preferably above about 10 billion, while also breaking the current high term time frame low range, which is, you could say, about 45,000 bucks. Bitcoin also testing down to the weekly 21 as well, so I'm assuming all of the weekly 21 buyers are finally vindicated months and months later, but hey, it does indeed happen. And this, coupled with the fact that we do see fear and greed index kind of all the way down at what would be essentially the major lows here, I do look at this as more or less a bouncy bounce type of indication overall. Bitcoin dominance did come down a little bit from yesterday to today as well, so actually some altcoins did kind of hold up rather well on that last dump. If we go down to the top 10 best coins over here, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 non-stable coins that are actually in the green, although really only about 4 of them having massive gains. I mean, this is just insane. Kusama, Nano, Aave, Synthetics, Polkadot, Polygon, all having themselves a day, and then it's stablecoin time. On the other side though, Bitcoin Diamond taking it on the chin, Rivane, EOS, Telcoin, Lisk, Urine Finance. Oh, that was the one that we looked at yesterday. Bitcoin Gold, SV, Satoshi's Vision going back down to the gutter again, and Bakery Token all on the losers list. And into the market data tab we go here, because there's actually some really important things to be speaking about that plays into what we just spoke about on the dashboard there, and that would be namely the funny rate right here. As you can see, the funny rate is currently trending down, and we do see it essentially printing multiple negative funny rate reads, meaning that you're actually getting paid on several exchanges right now to halter your long positions. This is typically not what things look like when they're actually ready to break down on a macro scale. You kind of want to see the opposite. You want to see really high funny rates in that case, as that typically will give a bit of a bearish bias, especially when you are kind of testing the bottom side of your, well, high term time frame range. Right now, we certainly have that. However, we do not have that same sort of setup which you would expect on the funny rate, and also the fear and greed index, and also the open interest. So what I would say is that for now, I still remain with my bias that long term, Bitcoin actually probably does hold within this region and probably does give another try to the upside, but that is long term. How do things work out in the short and medium term right here? Well, I'd be looking for some sideways, probably another few tests and wick fishing to the downside here as well. And then we also see Nimbo. What's up, Nimbo? I see you, my friend. There he is, my fucking man. Love it, man. Absolutely love it. But again, I do like what I see from the underlying market dynamics perspective. Now, does that just mean that it's a blindly good time to be, buying essentially? Perhaps not. No. Like I said, this likely takes some time. I don't think that Bitcoin's just going to unfuck itself in one girthy green dildo. No, it's very likely to take at least a few weeks here. And what we can do now is we can go into the actual price action charts themselves. I'm going to take a sippy sip of this. This is not a doggy coin. This is a, can you actually even see this? No, you can't see it. Well, fuck it. All right. Well, you know what? Doesn't matter. It's a stupid Pomeranian. No, just kidding. Elsa loves these things. But I'm going to take a sippy sip of this, and then we'll get into the actual charts. Oh man. Oh my god. I can't believe this shit is legal. This fucking coffee. Dealer on every goddamn corner, and somehow it's just normal around here. Anyways, okay, here we go. So into the secondary charts right now, because there is a couple of very interesting things going on right here. First and foremost, yet again, the daily perusal of the hash ribbons indicator over here. And what do we see? We see a no buy signal. Most importantly, that does essentially allow us to kind of get a general timing narrative for this sort of potential next move. And within the context of this, we have gone through and done a lot of deep dives into this. I don't want to go through all the examples right here, right now. Of course, you can obviously reference the long-term analysis playlist, which I have on this channel, and that will go through it in detail, especially for the last couple of weekends here. Or you can just take my word for it, or you can backtest it yourself, which is probably the best way to be doing it. Self-reliance, my friend, self-reliance. Mr. Emerson, he was certainly on to something over there. Anyway, so yes, the general gist of this, to kind of follow up for people who might not be as aware of this, would be as soon as we get that buy signal, after getting the capitulation signal, typically speaking, historically speaking, that is, it takes about a week to 2 weeks on average to actually print the next sort of momentous move, if you will, aka a breakout in the upside direction in this case. Now, with that in mind, we obviously do not have even the buy signal just yet, and even then, we also identified when we went through all of the past iterations that on average, from the capitulation signal to the buy signal, that takes about a month, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but on average about a month. And guess where we actually got that signal over here? Well, that was all the way back in the late April, about the 24th of April, actually. So do I think that Bitcoin can spend some more time essentially, just kind of ranging on the lows of the high term time frame range and scare the shit out of people some more? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I would actually be looking for that to happen, if anything. So as it stands right here, do I still stick with what I've been saying, that Bitcoin very likely spends, at least another few weeks within this region, or at least another 2 to 3 weeks within this region? Yes, I do, because right now we are still about a week away from even printing that buy signal about a month ago, even a little more than that, to be fair. And on top of that, then after the buy signal does indeed come, I want to see about a week or two after that. So it's essentially like a red alert plus it's like a yellow light, then a green light, essentially. So with that in mind, I still don't look at Bitcoin as like any sort of threatening move to just absolutely green dildo its way back up to $6,000 here. Long term, I am still bullish on this, but as you can see right now, we do see several momentum oscillators testing to the downside. Bitcoin is basing off on the $49,000 level that we did mark off, coming from the last few weeks here. I guess not on this chart. Maybe I did on this chart over here, or maybe I did on my regular charts. Oh, there you go. If you actually are looking at this as some sort of ascending triangle for formulating itself right here, that would be your next higher low as it stands, and also coming in line with the bottom side trailing band on the daily as well. I do like the confluence right there. And if we do throw on our momentum oscillators, you can see that several things are turning down against it. So I do think that Bitcoin, whether you're bullish or bearish, very likely does put in a few more wicks to the downside here. How far down can it test? I think anywhere around 47 to 48,000 bucks is certainly within the realm of possibilities. I don't have a strong opinion on that. In fact, we'd actually have to go to my other charts over here to get that. And here's the chart that I was looking for. There we go. Okay, blue box territory right now. The blue box is the peace and prosperity, holding up Bitcoin like the fucking Atlas shrugged. Hey, what's up, Brendan O'Toole? Can you do some TA on Elon schizophrenia coin on the hourly dildo? Yeah, we can get to that a little bit later. Or would you like to get to it right now? How about that, man? No, we'll talk about it a little bit later. I want to get through Bitcoin first, because Bitcoin obviously is the one coin to rule them all. The one orange coin that rules all other orange coins. And when you do see Bitcoin, obviously play out an upside or downside move, they're going to follow versus US dollar as well. Bitcoin is still the king of this market after all, and essentially gets to set the tone for the greater narrative. So as I see it right now, Bitcoin on the on the medium-term timeframes is playing between our 200 exponential average on the 12-hour, which is about 51,500 to 51,300 actually is where I have it at, right in line with that 2-spot extension as well that we had from way fucking long ago. And then our blue box to the downside right here, between about 48,000 and 49,000 bucks is the current base scenario. So I would be looking for a slew of wicks within this region, probably over the next, few days, perhaps. Is very likely going to take its time, maybe even some more wicks down to this one spot 414 over here, although that would definitely make me start to hold my breath a bit more, as soon as Bitcoin really starts to break below this $45,000 low, I do start to look at this as especially if the open interest read that we spoke about earlier is accompanying this, as a macro reversal. And at the very least, I'd be looking for moves down. I'd be looking for unabated moves down to about low $40,000 region, 41 to 42,000 bucks where I'd be looking towards. Very likely a bounce there, and very likely continuation implied to the downside. But again, I'm not necessarily looking for that to happen overall. It is more or less a function of what I'm looking on the higher term timeframes here, as we do over to the weekly, which I know a lot of people are aware of this as well. The weekly 21 exponential moving average right here, this yellow moving average, is well, it's, at least historically speaking, has been very much relevant for your Bula-ish markets. If we take off everything over here, which, shit, do I want to do this right now? Should we do it right now? Fuck it, we'll do it right now. All right, we'll take everything off. It's going to annoy the shit out of me to put it back on, but that's okay. And we can see that the yellow 21 exponential average within all of the past prior upwards markets has been a great basing point for essentially amazing long-term buys. If you are one of those long-term hodlers, one of those long-term accumulators, blah, 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 you know where I'm going with that. Anyways, we can backtest this all the way back to May 2012. And whenever Bitcoin is essentially trending above the yellow 21 exponential average within the context of the weekly uptrend and within the context of the 21 actually having a positive slope, that has been, again, phenomenal basing points going all the way, keeping you long from about June 2012 at about $6.50 all the way here where it actually did flatten out for a second. But actually never got a negative slope. So technically speaking, if you were looking at this from a long period of time, you actually should have held if you were playing it in that regard. It wasn't really over here until we got a negative slope on it. So kind of tells you, or, you know, kind of gives you a good idea of where we're at in the greater scale of things. And then, of course, in 2015 to all the way to 2017, 2018, called it rather well. Also to the downside here, too, a little bit less accurate in that case. And then chops around a lot in, of course, 2019, 2020-ish region. And then more recently, as Bitcoin does break out on the macro scale, we actually haven't really tested it yet at all. So this is the first time that we've actually got a test down to it, and that would be your 46. It's actually currently about just under $47,000. So I would be looking for that as a bounce first and foremost. Now I want to put these back on before I forget because that would be catastrophic for me because I absolutely need these for what I'm looking at right now. So let's just throw them back on. There we go. All right, excellent. So I'd essentially be looking for Bitcoin to play a little bit between the 21 and the 10 simple right now on the weekly as it kind of resolved itself. If we go through the lower term timeframes, is there anything to be aware of right now? Looks like Bitcoin probably pops up a little bit here. I mean, I do like the volume on this current low. This is a nice massive wick to the downside thus far. So short term, does Bitcoin try a little bit more of an extension on this bounce? Yeah, very likely yes. You know, anywhere to just under $53,000 or 52,500-ish region is fair game. Let me put back on our BitMexican charts over here. And with that in mind, hey, get the fuck out of my face. With that in mind, you know, again, I don't really look at Bitcoin as doing anything very interesting on the higher term time frames as long as it caught between these two ranges right here. The thing is, though, with the advent of what we saw over the past few days now, this is very obviously confirmed as a lower high on the daily and higher term time frames here. So that means that if Bitcoin is going to actually continue on to the upside, we can now move down the resolution point looking for that next sort of continuation move to essentially new all-time highs and, still remain with like $70,000 to $80,000 targets, whatever it ends up being. I don't really want to get too deep into that right now because that's not the focus, and I don't think it's happening anytime soon anyways. But that would be right here, right at that last high, $59,000 on a closing basis, right around there. I just want to make sure that this is also on the 2-day. Yes, indeed it is, and it is the exact same level as well, just below $59,000 to be exact. And yep, same thing on the 3-day as well, about $58,800 if you want to be super precise within this one. So overall, I would be looking at that as now the actual continuation signal to new all-time highs, rather than a closure above about $61,000 or $60,000, of which we didn't even get any of that within the context of this current structure right here. Now, this is starting to look a little bit more like it is, like it could roll over. So I would say that it's certainly not a done deal that Bitcoin will just automatically rally back up to new all-time highs. Although again, I do remain with a long-term bullish bias as long as the open interest criteria is not fulfilled, I suppose. Plus, of course, structure on the higher term time frames as well. Again, that'd be a daily below, realistically like $45,000. Although even below that last low right here at about $49,000 would be pretty fucking concerning as well, but not as bad. Anyways, you could also kind of look at this as a bit of a front run of the 200 simple and 200 exponential average as well. And I would really like to see Bitcoin probably put in a few more wicks down around that region, as the longer that Bitcoin can trade sideways here, especially above $50,000 on a daily closing basis, the better, and would imply that Bitcoin likely does pull itself out of its bootstraps over time, but it will very likely take time. Anyways, is there anything else that I want to check out over here? Let's maybe go to a 12-hour really quickly. Momentum oscillators all turning down right now, not looking good. In fact, if we go to the daily, do we see anything? Yeah, actually we do see a lot of things over here. Daily is rather concerning as well. We do see daily TSI actually getting rejected at the zero read right here. So given a bearish bias, also playing out the same trend line that we identified, I think a few days ago here. I think maybe this was on the GDAX charts. Yep, it is. There we go. Okay, it's saved it nice and well. So overall, getting hit once again. And yes, you can obviously look at this as a hit right there. It's more of a regression rather than like a hard and set trend line. But more importantly than that, yes, we are still playing off that. And I would simultaneously, more importantly on the other side, look at a break of this trend line going forwards here as a shift in momentum and a bit of a change in behavior as well, perhaps preemptive of a move here too, as it typically does. Anyways, looking at daily RSI, I mean, again, kind of getting that first bounce off the bearish control zone, that is to be expected, but that next test down very likely does lead into a greater move down there. So that is also something that I'd be keeping a keen eye on right now as well, specifically on the daily. And is there anything on the 4 hour right here? Yeah, 4 hour says that we range a little bit. We probably range a little bit between about 52.5 and 50, or maybe even as high as 53,000, and the current closing low at about 49.5 to 49,000 bucks. The ranges are big here as we are dealing with big numbers, but that is just the name of the game right now, and we can just mark it off right there. Technically speaking, 52,750 is your structure on the medium-term time frames within this context. Of course, Bitcoin breaks above this region, I'd probably look for a little bit of an extension, maybe back up to 55 or 56. Again, I don't think that that's what's happening right here. I think that we spend some more time ranging on the lows a little bit. It's the purpose of this next phase of the market, this next sort of malaise of the market, the feeling of the market is supposed to make you second guess yourself. It's supposed to scare the shit out of you. It's supposed to manipulate you to sell your coins. Yeah, that's right. They are coming for your coins right now. They're definitely coming for your doggy coins, as does this person over here think, which is great. Dog is dropping because Bitcoin dropped, every coin is dropped because of Bitcoin. Don't worry, this is not doggy coin drop. This is just news. Wait, what the fuck? Don't worry about your red P&Ls. Just news, bro. just a bunch of news, bro. It's like, what the fuck? It's only a loss if you sell. Actually, did you consider opportunity cost? Like, what the fuck, man? Where do people get these ideas? It's just crazy shit. Anyways, Dogecoin over here. We can go check it out really quickly. It is kind of like one of the more interesting ones to be looking at right now. And same thing. Actually, this is the very interesting portion of the Dogecoin sort of dilemma going on right now. And what I would be looking at right here, now that we do have that move down below 40 cents, I actually would be looking for this one to bounce around this level. What happens next is very, very likely a bull trap. How high does a bull trap get? That's a difficult one, to be honest with you. I think a bull trap could go anywhere between about 55 cents and maybe even as high as like 60, 61 cents right there. What I would do in this case is I'd take a fib retracement and I'd do a bearish retracement on this one, assuming that this will be the current local low. And I already have I have the bullish extension right there. Let's go take a bearish retracement now, because now we get to play the other side. Isn't that fun? Isn't that great, Dogecoin holders? Don't you just love crypto? Don't you just love trading, my Dogecoin friends? So let's see, where's the 618? About 57 cents. So I'll mark off that area right here. This is gonna be an area of sort of hot contention, if you will, and anywhere between there and the 786 at about 63.5 cents is kind of where I'd be looking for your proverbial potential bull trap in this case. I'm gonna take off the top end trend lines there, because it's just, I mean, yes, it is relevant, but it's not like pertinent to what we're discussing right now. And of course, the descending triangle that we identified yesterday looks like it not just resolved itself, but it also, I believe, it also would have hit the measure move on it. Let's just double check on this one, because I didn't do it on this specific chart right here. Probably did it on my main charts. Oh, and what do you know? Every once in a while, that TA bullshit, sometimes it actually fucking works. So I would be looking for a bounce from this region here. Again, how high can it bounce up over time? I think 57.5 cents, anywhere around there is kind of like is kind of fair game. As much as 63.5 cents, but above 63.5 cents, I actually would not be bearish on this one anymore, and I'd actually be looking for this one to make new all-time highs. So that'd be my condition for that. But we actually do have that in now. And the next, and again, the next big thing that I'm looking for is essentially a bull trap here, and that is going to make me incredibly bearish on this one, essentially precipitating the next sort of major decline, probably down to the 20 simple would be your next target on the weekly specifically here. And where is that, my Dogecoin friends? In the teens, in the mid-teens now, as it kind of creeps its way upwards and onwards. And over time, does this one come back down below 10 cents? Very, very likely, yes. But that can take a year, that can take 2 years. It's going to be, it's going to be some time. So as Bitcoin does play a little bit of a short-term rally, I'd be looking for this one to pop back up as well. And again, over the next couple days here, I keep a keen eye on that area as a potential bull trap area. And again, it doesn't mean that it's 100% guaranteed to work out. It just means that we have a nice, obvious area to be managing off of. Again, above 63.5 cent, no longer bearish. I don't see that as a bull trap above there, but anywhere between this region right here, which is admittedly a very large region. And what we could do is we could actually just use the wick. We could just use the wicks right here too, as that's typically where those sort of trappy areas will come in, just from experience. That'd be more along the lines of about 59 cents, or what is that? 59.5 cents, sorry, to about 63.5 cents. So kind of tightening that up that range a little bit more. But this is a highly volatile one, so you never know where the fuck a stray wick is gonna land itself. But overall, this is the area of nastiness, if you will. I also forgot to check out CMEs. Does CME chart look anything different than Bitcoin spot right now? And it is trending below the bottom side Toronto band here too on the 4-hour, which is not the picture of health and fitness. But did we hit anything of particular note on the daily here? Daily looks like absolute shit, in fact. So that's not good. We should just ignore that one. Go over here to my regular charts, see if it looks any different. Bouncing off the 89 right now. Again, this does not look super healthy to me, especially with daily TSI turning down and rejecting the bear buy zone. So here's the thing, and here's what I really want to focus on today. If I am going to be looking for another leg down on Bitcoin, where would I be targeting is a real question. Like I said, anywhere around low $40,000 is kind of where I'd be looking towards, and that would be initiated with a breakage below the last range low, which is the 26th of February low right here at about 45,500-ish region on CME's spot price actions a little bit below there. I think 45 even or somewhat. Hey, what's up, La Major? Hey man, if cool with you, I'd like to get through this first, and then we can talk about shitcoins. But I'd like to hold off on the shitcoin chart just for the just ignore the charts that don't look good. Says JJ. What's up, JJ? Good to see you, brother. Good to fucking see you, man. Yeah, there we go. Just ignore the charts that don't look good. That's the key. That's the key. Just turn a blind eye. Willful blindness always leads to good things, of course. Anyways, I'm gonna finish off this. Well, maybe I won't finish off this coffee, but I can do a nice dent in this one, and then we'll talk about Ethereum really quickly, and then we can talk about shitty ass. We can talk about these highly esteemed altcoins that everyone seems to love here. Oops, I spilled on myself. Whoopsies. I need a fucking sippy cup, I guess. Anyways, let's go over here to Mr. Buterol, see what he's got going on. Same thing here as well. I'm not necessarily bearish on Buterol. I actually do think that it very likely bounced from this region. If it wants to take another leg down, obvious area is going to be about 3250 to 3300. I do not think that this run is done just yet on Ethereum. In fact, looking at the 2-day right here, I really like what it's doing right now. I do think that this one has one last push. I stick with what I've been saying for the past few days here. Yes, we did technically close below the top side Toronto band, actually, or did we? No, actually on the 3-day we closed above, but just barely. I mean, that is more of a toppy dildo right there. The 2-day certainly closed below, and obviously the daily did as well. But overall, I stick with what I've been saying. I do look for Mr. Buterol to very likely make one new high, somewhere around $5,000, give or take like $100 from that territory, and then very likely play out a greater pullback. But for right now, fighting it off rather well and actually having a pretty decent recovery thus far. You can see on the 4-hour right here, a lot more obvious. We do see a nice bring up above the bottom side Toronto band right here. So I would be looking for a short-term rally somewhere around 4,100-ish regions where I'd be looking towards. Let's just go over to the regular charts over here just to see if that lines up with what I'm seeing. And yeah, daily is actually just coming down to test the 10 simple. So again, if it does want to take another leg down, how would I sort of look at that from a structural standpoint? It's pretty easy here. Just any sort of a closure below the current potential low of this would be my next sort of criteria for looking for another $500 drop, actually. That currently being about 38, let's just call it 3,800 even. Technically speaking, it is 3,830, but check your exchange. And then yes, I would be looking for greater moves down to about 3,300, give or take about $50 off that target. Ultimately though, I don't think that that's what's happening here. We do have potential hidden bullish divergence in progress if and only if this confirms as a local low. How do you confirm this as a local low? I'd want to see this next 4-hour dildo close if it can close above the 21. That would be that would be quite obvious. Actually, technically speaking, we do not have. Oh, I take that back. We do not actually have hidden bullish divergence here. We do have new lows on the 4-hour right there. So fair enough. That is actually not available to us. But ultimately, I'd still be looking for a bounce off this anyways. Can very easily play back up to 41 or 4150-ish region. Looking at the 12-hour right here, do we have anything resembling hidden bullish divergence? I think maybe too high of a time frame. Maybe go to a 6-hour. Nope, still have a lower low there. Let's just find a time frame that agrees with what I say, and then we'll run with that. Still, the 10-hour. I mean, where do you say it? Nah, it'd be somewhere more around here, to be fair. But overall, yes, if that does want to play out, I'd be looking at a target somewhere around 41 to 41.50-ish region short term. But we can now come up with some new ranges for Mr. Buterin now that we have our first sort of decent pullback here. I'll throw on the drawing tools. We actually did get a test down to the area that I was looking for a couple days ago here and having a nice bounce off that region. Do I kind of run with this? The fuck is going on out there? Sounds like World War III going on out there. What the hell? I think there's construction or something going on. Anyways, yes, so looking at this right here, I really like the volume on this bounce thus far, so I am led to believe that this very likely does test the upside a bit. We do see that mostly indicators are going for a bit of a bullish reset first and foremost. For the 4-hour TSI right here, we're not seeing it cross below any sort of bearish buy zones. Again, I'm led to believe, I'm led to lean onto the side that this is very likely setting up one more drive, just one more drive, and then I would be looking for that greater pullback. And again, you have to realize that a lot of people in this market are now getting like insanely fucking bullish on Ethereum, and perhaps that is warranted, but as a trader, thinking a little more short and medium term here now, which may or may not be relevant to you, I don't know. I still look at this as, you're going to have the ebb and flow of the market. It's not just going to shoot all the way up to like 20,000 to 25,000 bucks, which is like the latest target that I've seen for this one now is like 25,000 bucks. I heard 25,000 bucks this year, and anything else is hogwash. I mean, we're starting to get into fucking crazy land right now. Look, I'm not saying that it can't happen, but you can't trade something like that. You can invest in something like that, I guess, but your risk profile is going to be way too much for my little tight bunghole, so I'll put it that way, man. Anyways, as it stands right now, I would be looking for this one to bounce up a little bit more. Do we see anything of particular note on this chart over here? I mean, we do see several things actually pointed back down for another test towards 38, but same thing to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin ranges back down to about 49,000 bucks, I'd look for Mr. Buterin to give another test back down to the bottom side trolling down on the 4-hour here, which is your low stride structure right around about 38 to 37.50-ish region in that $50 range. A break below there, then yes, I start to look for that move down to about 3250 to 3300-ish region, another $50 range right there. And that would be the next sort of major opportunity, at least for a big bounce, potentially a reversal as well. All right, cool. Just one more chart over here. I do want to check out this one and see what we got. And again, this is Caretaker's STC over here, by the way, or Caretaker's STD for the crazy fucks out there. But looking at this right here for Ethereum specifically, we do see that this is first and foremost being denoted as still a bull zone, extreme. It actually is extreme right here, rising trend. And if you are looking at this indicator and the way that it's designed, this is supposed to be a basing point as it is right now. So I would still I would still favor the upside overall on this one. I do think that we have one more push here, and then very likely it's time to talk about a greater pullback. I think targets down, maybe around 3,000 bucks after that would very much be warranted. But again, take this market one leg at a time, of course, as this thing is fucking moving right now, and we got plenty to be looking at. Anyways, okay, I'll pull up some of the comments here. you fucking savages. Oh dear Lord. All right, let me just finish off this coffee, and we will get directly into it, my friends. Oh, finally, motherfucker. Although I do seem to have lost my water bottle, which is very strange. Where could my water bottle be? What the fuck? All right, let's see. Okay, I think I already got that one. La Major says Wi-Fi USD day weekly, please sir. It's a fork of Wi-Fi. Wi-Fill. Okay, Wi-Fill. All right. It's a fork of another shitcoin. Apparently, it's not on TradingView though, man. So unfortunately, I cannot look at it. I am obviously limited by, it's YFII. Sorry, it's YFII. Okay, my apologies there. We'll do that. I actually have terrible eyesight. I really need to get LASIK surgery. But here we go. Okay, so YFII. Oh, dear Lord. Again, same sort of thing here too, man. I do favor the trend right now. This one is actually digging itself up, and for what it's worth, I mean, it's still playing above all major moving averages right here. I don't look at this as likely to actually break down from a daily structural perspective. This one's very obviously in a nice consolidation. You got some range highs right there. You got your rising range lows coming in from this trend line right here. And, could it have a test down to the 200 simple? Yeah, very easily, especially if Bitcoin comes down and tests maybe like 45,000 bucks. That'd be about 2280-ish region. Sorry, where exactly is this coming? Yeah, let's just call it 22. Let's just call it 22 within this case. But I'd be looking for a big bounce there. Personally speaking, though, I don't think that's what's happening. I do think that this one bounces from this region right here, at least short term, back up to about 30-50ish region. But you did not give a time frame. Oh no, you did. You did day, weekly. Okay, well there. Well, we already did the daily. Weekly still okay too, man. I don't hate this chart as it is. You know, this is, for what it's worth, a nice sending trunk right here, as long as it remains above about 2150 to 2200ish region, especially. I don't really see a real reason to get bearish on it. Now that obviously does imply if we do take out this local low right here at about 22, what is this exactly? About 2200 actually even. I'd be looking for the full retrace on this one back down to 1420 or 14, great number right there, or even 1300, maybe even new lows. But until that happens, man, I'm just not looking for that. I think that this was like your first, major test in a lot of these markets right here, especially for the Dogecoin holders, as I do see their precious investments go down by 50%. Very nasty, very, very brutal by this market. John Vachel has retracted his message. How dare you, sir? How dare you? I see Emma Aurora. I see Burnt Creme. Hello, creme de la creme. 40K Bitcoin is a blessing. Yeah, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I would look at most of those moves as major opportunities long term. Jimmy Brand says, Elon did me dirty. Actually, Elon did not do anything to you, sir. You made your own decisions, and that is what it is. And here's the thing, and sorry, that probably comes off a little bit harsh in this market, in this feeling right now. Let me kind of correct this a bit. Okay, so first and foremost, look, I don't think it's like right to fucking celebrate anyone losing money. Yes, it's fun to poke some fun here and there, obviously, but Elon did me dirty. This is not the right sort of mentality when it comes to trading or investing, for that matter. These sort of narratives, and you're probably trolling, to be fair, but I know that there's a lot of people out there who actually do believe something like that. And the real thing about that is that first and foremost, no, it's probably not even that to begin with. An Elon tweet doesn't mean anything, actually. It doesn't mean fucking anything. It doesn't hit the red button or the green button. It means fucking nothing. What actually matters is real trades going through. Elon himself said that he is not selling any Bitcoin. He did not make any, he did not say anything other than they're just not accepting Bitcoin payments anymore. So you lose a little bit of your, I suppose, utility of this asset right now. You can no longer buy Tesla cars with it, which I don't know how many people did to begin with, but fair enough. A little bit less negative adoption, if you will, is the only thing right there. But still, at the end of the day, man, you don't want your precious pet rock, whether it be Bitcoin, whether it be gold, whether it be fucking Dogecoin, whatever the hell it is, to be running off of the hype or not hype or non-hype. What's the opposite of hype? I don't know. But you don't want that to be run off of just one person. And in fact, it doesn't work like that anyways. What typically happens in these sorts of areas is that the move will happen anyways. Remember, we were looking at this yesterday and the day prior, saying it's very likely to come back down to $50,000. And did we know about the Elon tweets then? No, we didn't. It didn't fucking matter, man. It didn't fucking matter. It's the same thing in 2018 as well. Everyone was saying that the reason why Bitcoin dumped in 2018 is because of the hash wars. That was back on over here from 6,000 to 3,000. We've been talking about that for, half a year prior to that region. And it was just very, very simple shit right here. A nice massive descending triangle after putting in a parabolic blow off top within the context of historically pulling back, 70 to 80% after those sorts of moves. It's very reasonable to be looking at something like that. So my point is that, look, man, news like that is only really used by less educated, we'll say less educated traders, investors, whatever the fuck you want to call it, to justify a move after it's happened. News is neutral. News is just what it is. And two people can hear the same piece of news and have completely different perspectives on it. They can have completely different, outcomes from it because of their prior reference experiences. So you actually can't even do that to begin with. It doesn't imply any of that. So it's a wrong way to be thinking. At the end of the day, this is why I do favor technicals over most anything else, unless if you have some sort of insider information. It's just that simple. It's going to be the closest that you can actually see what other people are doing here. And in this case right here, we saw this yesterday. I didn't say it was going to come all the way down to $45,000, but on a closing basis, that is what I essentially measure off of. And yes, we do have a closing basis down to 49, and we were saying about $49,000 to $50,000, and that actually is what happened there. So not bad in that case. And overall, again, I'm not trying to talk downwards to you or anything like that. I know that you're probably just trolling, to be honest. But I also do not know that there's a lot of people who believe shit like that. I mean, that you find them over here on Reddit, right? Reddit is a great place for this kind of shit, but Does that really matter? No, it doesn't. It's the same thing as like Redditors getting mad at Barry Silbert for shorting Dogecoin. It's like, look, man, Barry Silbert, whether, no matter what he did, it doesn't even matter. I mean, like, he already fucking shorted, and then people say, oh my God, this is because of Barry Silbert. It's like, no, he already shorted, you fuck. He can only close his position now. And guess what? If you close a short, what are you doing? Oh, you're buying. Oh, fuck. That's crazy. How does that work into that? It literally doesn't even make sense, fundamentally speaking. So, these sorts of things I think are just massively misleading and only get in the way of what is most important for a trader, which is to take responsibility. This is the one profession, or I wouldn't say it's the one profession, but it's a profession amongst very few where you really have to be comfortable making your own decisions and not passing off blame, not passing off responsibility to anyone else. And that is the right way to be doing things. Even if something is not your fault, it is more important to take responsibility for it, because that actually puts you in a mindset to fucking change yourself in the proper way anyways. Because if you don't take responsibility for it, then you won't have any reason to change. And if you don't have any reason to change, you'll get the same goddamn result over and over and over and over and over again, which many wretched traders out there have learned that lesson incredibly painfully, including myself. Now, what you learn from that is what you learn from that, and hopefully you change over time. But I understand that, like myself, some people can be very stubborn out there. Anyways, I spent way too much time on that one. You probably didn't even give a fuck about any of what I said right there. Apologies on that one, man. Very much apologies on that one. I just went on a goddamn rant. Apologies, sir. All right, Matthew Dorsey says, Tesla stock, please. Yeah, let's go check it out. I'm curious actually to see what Tesla did, although we won't be able to see what it's trading in the overnight session for because no futures on this thing as far as I'm concerned. Tesla going into distribution right here, very nasty. Now, I would be short-term looking for a bounce off this region, anywhere around this prior low structure right here. Bounces can come all the way back up to like 650, maybe even more than that over time. But more importantly than this, we do have our first obvious lower high on the macro scale. Here is your bull trap thus far. If we put on a bearish retracement right here, I imagine it probably comes in at some, what do you fucking know? Classic shit, right around the 618, just classic shit right there. And yes, I would be looking for the bounce to very likely get sold into. And then this one actually goes into its major first downside move. Very likely the next area to be looking towards is like 520 to 500-ish even, very likely a bounce there as well, and then I'd come back to it after that and want to see it again. But personally speaking, do I think that it'd have more downside after that? It's certainly gonna have a lot of downside all the way down below $400. We are seeing the weekly start to print some pretty nasty signals here. Actually, we do see the weekly SMI increasing momentum to the downside and still even above like the bullish buy zone as well. Weekly DMI is almost going to see the DMI minus get towards the threshold. Not there just yet, to be fair, so it's still got a little bit of ways to go. But overall, it is building, and the MACD obviously increasing momentum to the downside. On a distributive lower high right here on the weekly. Nonetheless, yeah, I do look for this one to probably trade lower over time, but short term, does it bounce? Yeah, very likely bounces somewhere around like what was it, like 6, or where exactly was that earlier? I mean, actually, we're kind of on that level right now, but maybe a little bit lower first. Like a little wick fishing down to 580, and then try a bouncy bounce there. Alrighty, sweet. What's up, Mr. Sebastian? He's back, Mr. Ginn. Man, you must be a nocturnal. You must be nocturnal as all hell, man. Hi, sir. Hello, sir. How you doing? Hope your day is going well. It's all right, man. It's all right. I'm getting absolutely murdered by allergies recently. It's so terrible here. Do you think Tesla no longer accepting Bitcoin influence to sell off? Oh wow, we actually just went through a whole rant of that. Elon tweeted at 5 and Bitcoin sold off at 5:30. No, okay, so. What actually does happen during these sorts of things, and I kind of hold off on talking about shit like this because it can get a little more confusing, is that when you have a sort of it's not a news, it's not news, it's just an event, I suppose you could say it's an event like that. What will typically happen is that other market movers, probably not Elon, we have no idea who to fucking know, and it'd be naive to say that we have any idea who it is, but other market movers, people with bigger accounts, they know that they can now play into the fears of retailers. And this is actually why you typically do see those moves after, something like that, is that a bigger account will come in and be like, okay, we have someone who the market really, really respects. The market kind of lives and dies off this guy in a lot of ways. He's caused several pumps and dumps within the last like 4 to 5 months. And what we can do is we can come in here now, play off that fear, dump it down a little bit more, and then get our fills lower if we want, or we can just, continue to drive it down, which fair enough is a potential to happen as well. But my point is that is that what actually caused it? No, it's not. It's a game that the market can play, though, and the market will play plenty of games, of course. So I hope that I hope that somewhat answers your question there. And yeah, I mean, even timing that off, it's like he tweeted at 5 and then Bitcoin sold off at 5:30. It's like, well, if you're going to make that argument, it's like, okay, where's the time cutoff, right? Where's the fucking time cutoff? The narrative is less important than what actually happened. The narrative is a lot less important than what actually happened. I mean, if you recall in like 2018, we saw plenty of times where there's actually like, significantly bullish news in Bitcoin, but Bitcoin sold off. I mean, just more or less a function of, of the greater timeframes there. All right, cool. Jimmy Brand says, how much you lift, bro? About 350, sir, and not a single cent less, but not in kilos and pounds. How much you lift, bro? What's up, Meccan? I see you, man. Bitcoin Bulletin. He's in here. He's in here as well. Drop more. Could we drop more? I think Bitcoin wig fishes a few more below $50,000. Yes. But I'm not necessarily looking for a full-on breakdown just yet. I'm looking for Bitcoin to range kind of near the lows and then probably try a rally from there on the higher term timeframes. More importantly, short-term timeframes, just a bit of a range and probably does continue with a little bit more upside testing here. All right. What did I just miss? Holy fuck, I think I just completely skipped over a shit ton of comments right there. As always, if I do skip your comment, just feel free to repost it. I know it's fucking annoying, but it is a little bit difficult for me to sometimes follow through on some of these. John Vachel says, hey, Krown. Hey, what's up, man? Love your TA. Thanks, man. That sometimes actually works. Just needs to work a few times, man. That's all. Also hilarious when Elle starts doing the dishes every stream. Thank God she's asleep right now, man. Could you look at Ethereum Classic 4-hour and daily? Sure, man. I got you. ETC USD. I remember this one had some dilemmas a couple days ago, but it's very similar to Bitcoin here. I think it's very likely to test down around about 85, 80, 86 region, somewhere down around the bottom side Toronto band here on the 4-hour once again, and then very likely try a bounce from that region. I don't think this one's just going to like shatter completely to the downside immediately from this from this area. I think it plays out a bit of a range, and obviously the daily is actually bouncing off the 20 as well. So short term very likely plays out another short-term downside move. However, I do think that will get bought back on up, and we will see a bounce in this one, similar to pretty much everything else. I mean, the analysis that I just did on Bitcoin is going to apply to 90% of altcoins within this case. And when we see it over here on our regular charts, I think it's a lot more obvious. Short-term 4-hour, yep, probably very likely comes back down and tests around like actually just maybe a little below $88, but I would be looking for a bounce from this region. We do some momentum oscillators are actually just seeing the 4-hour RSI testing the bearish control zone for the first time in months, actually no, just a month right here, but this one was a quick reject, so this is really your last time, and that was late March. So yeah, we could say months, and typically speaking that is going to be an obvious bounce area. Where would your bounce targets be? Somewhere around the 10 simple or 21 in this case, which is right around $100 even, a good round psychological number as well. So I would be looking for short term, another test down here and then try for a bit of a bounce. And could that bounce turn into a greater reversal? Potentially yes, but that is not the right way to be thinking right now. As long as this thing is below technically 110 lower high right here on the 12-hour, it's pressure down. Now, that simultaneously means above there, yeah, I'd be looking for another retest of the 140 highs and probably does set up for another run to the upside as well. Oh, Mr. Nate's Games is back in the house. What's up, Krown? Bitcoin yen and Bitcoin Korean won didn't make new closing lows, and wick low. Also, are we approaching the weekly bull market support on RSI around 50 to 55? Actually, this is really, really good, man. I've been what's it called? Checked in on that in a long time, and we are starting to approach it, yes, but still a little bit more. We're currently at about 56, 57-ish region. So if you're not aware of what Nate is talking about here, what he's talking about is something that we used to reference quite often over the past couple of years here, and it's actually just becoming relevant once again. And it's this: in a bull market, Bitcoin seems to love, historically speaking, playing off of the mid 50s as far as the RSI. These have all been phenomenal buys. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just put in a nice horizontal trend line right around about the 55 read. And again, anywhere around there's kind of fair game, or it looks like I already have it here. You can see that going all the way back to 2012, all of these bases around here were essentially, well, phenomenal buys. And what we can do is we can go show it on the charts right now. Actually, I'm going to completely... Yeah, we might as well just delete all the things on this chart. I mean, everything is just from way lower anyway, so it's not even relevant to what we're talking about. But here we go. All right, let's do this one more time. Let's try it right here at about 55. Want it right there in the middle, essentially. And what we can see now as we kind of measure this off is all the tests down here within the context of a macro bull market have been phenomenal buys as well. And you'll also notice that these typically come alongside a test of the weekly 21 as well, which, as we identified earlier within the stream, is also, traditionally speaking, a pretty damn good area for a bit of basing long-term on price action. So this first one over here, you do see that was obviously a major low. Boom, all the way from about 785 to, like $1,000 a couple of years later. Quite nice. We tested again right here in this low, as you can see. Again, a phenomenal timer actually, as it does test all the way up to about 250. So more than a, oh my God, more than a 20x right there. Same thing over here a couple times in 2013. Does dip a little bit below it, but that's okay. Should make more of a range there, about 50 even to the downside. But overall, again, another phenomenal basin area. Same thing over here on the momentous drive. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Then one more time on the bull trap, or sorry, one more time on the bull trap of 2013 right here. And then after that, actually breaks it. Boom, that's your next bear market. Nasty. And then what happens after that? You see several times over here. Boom, 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 boom. We do see that all of those are essentially lows, and also simultaneously along D21 as well. And then what happens after that? We actually break below that region, the 55 region over here in 2018. There's your next sort of bear market, if you will. And then more recently, we broke above it way the fuck back on over here. Actually, a little bit in 2019, telling you to essentially get long at about $5,000 if you were playing it that way. And that was almost a 3x to 15,000 or 14,000 there. And then what happens in 2020? Well, same thing. And this is the first time that we're actually even coming down around this level once again. So I would say it's more of a range, to be fair. We do see a few of these drops down a little bit lower than where I currently have that at. I'd say it's between about 53.5 to 55.5 actually. So yeah, probably another week here, and we will very likely test this. And also assuming that Bitcoin, or I shouldn't assume here, but if Bitcoin, let's make an if and statement, or if or statement. In this case, if Bitcoin essentially just doesn't create a lower low on the weekly and puts in a higher low, then we will naturally have hidden bullish evidence here as well, as RSI is making a lower low already. So I would be looking at this area at the very least as a bounce area, potential reversal area. Personally, I think it will be a reversal area, but that also implies that Bitcoin probably has a couple more weeks just ranging around this region and scaring the shit out of people a few more times perhaps. So keep that in mind. Anyways, moving on, we see, what do we see actually? And actually you asked about Bitcoin yen, Bitcoin won. I think the Korean won is actually more interesting to look at right now because it is significantly different than all the charts. The yen is very similar to spot price action for US markets. So it's really the won over here, which is actually a bigger player within this market. That does look different. And as you can see right here, I mean, again, I just look at this as, more or less a range at the highs. I think it's a lot more obvious on this chart here too. And are we making new lows on RSI already on the weekly? We are, in fact. So again, the longer that Bitcoin essentially just ranges above the 21 here, the better. I do look at that. Just having a bit of a reset right now. All right, Asul, Mr. Sofarik says, hello, sir. Hello, sir. How you doing? Can you please look at Charlie Lee on the 4-hour and daily? Sure, man. Let's see what we got over here. We got Litecoin taking it on the chin as well. But, as we say, or as I've been saying for a while now, hello, good morning, Mrs. Mermaid. How the fuck are you? You can't even speak, can you? You had a fun night last night, didn't you? Anyways, looking at this right here, we do see the weekly is getting its first pullback after the break of, is this prior highs? Yes, indeed it is. And what have we been saying for the past few weeks here? Typically speaking, that first pullback is a pretty obvious, pretty good buy for the more often than not in this price discovery mode. So I'd actually be looking at this as kind of the opportunity right now. That would also imply anywhere below our current wick low, which is about 298. You could just say $300. Will be indicative of a greater reversal, probably back down to about 230 to 250. But right now, I do look at this in the same way that I do look at I think it was Bitcoin, Ethereum, and several other altcoins as they do break past their prior time highs. You get that first major move down. Typically speaking, it's the shakeout, and then you get your next continuation drive up. I would still stick with my long-term targets of $500 and beyond, but again, it does come with a caveat on the downside. Don't want to see any closures below $300, especially on a daily. And then I'd essentially favor continuation here. Even the daily right here, as far as RSI goes, we will have hidden bullish evidence potential here, as your last local low was way the fuck back on over here. So assuming that it can confirm a local low here, which is not done just yet, it will do not today, potentially tomorrow would be the earliest with a closure above 350. I'll be looking at a retest of the highs on this run and very likely new all-time highs, and I'd still stick with $500 target actually. So I actually look at this as an opportunity first and foremost. 4-hour, short term, I'd be looking for this one to bounce back up here too. Short term, probably like 345, 350ish region. What's up, Super Googly Lee? Hi, Krown. My long-term bag is a bit overloaded on Ethereum after this run up. Can you please look at Cardano Ethereum daily to see if it is a good time to scale some Ethereum into Cardano? Okay, let's see what the magical charts say today on Binance. Is it a good time to switch back in? Okay, so let me just make sure that I'm looking at this properly. You want Cardano versus Ethereum? All right, and you are heavy in Ethereum right now. So you're essentially asking if you should buy this or you should get long on this. And let's just go to a higher term time frame first and foremost. The daily, basing off on the 200 simple, usually going to be a bit of a no-brainer area, at least for a bouncy bounce. Long term, are we in an uptrend? It looks like we are. Wait, nope. Hold on. Yes, we are in a weekly uptrend right here. We obviously have new highs, and we actually haven't even come in and set a higher low here. So I would be looking at this as potential setting a higher low. And more importantly, you have a pretty easy kind of basing off of area right here. Low structure is about, 39,000 butyrols. Or you just use the 200 simple and 377 right here. It's a bit of a liquid, liquid zone. Overall, though, I do favor this area, at least for a bit of a bias and a bit of an edge. And you got an obvious range here as well. I'd say that this one's a bit in the clear above 47,500 butyrols, and I would be targeting moves back to 59 and probably beyond. Again, this is within the context of a macro reversal here. We have obvious new range high, or we have obviously new trend highs here, but we don't have a higher low on the weekly just yet. So if this can confirm a higher low right here on the weekly, I'd be massively bullish on this. So do I think that it would be potentially worth it? I think that you got an edge there, and obviously that comes with a caveat on the downside. Risk management, as always. This is where I'd say that idea is no longer going to be right. Again, below about 39. Okay, sweet. Let's see. I'm a Mr. Ciano. Hey, Dad, I need the scoop on XRP 4-hour stat. Oh, dear Lord. Currently positioned on that naughty dump. Do you think more nasty downside is in play? Is this desperation time, sir? Okay, we can go over here to XRP. Honestly, man, same thing. We did say, I believe a couple days ago, a move down to 120 is certainly not out of the question. I would be looking at that as an opportunity. I'd be saying the same thing here too, man. I actually think that this is your bounce area, and if anything, off the 55 right here, it's technically a little bit below 120. So Krown's wrong, murder fucking Krown. But overall, yeah, I do look at this first and foremost as reaccumulation here. I still actually like Ripple's chart long term. Again, not a commentary on the underlying technology, but you got an obvious range going on right here. As long as it's right in the 55, I mean, this is kind of wedging itself into a reaccumulation formation, so I would favor that. That also implies if you see any sort of a breakage below this region, about 119 now, I would be looking for greater pullbacks, if you will, greater pullbacks down to a 90-cent region. Now, you did not ask about that. You asked about a 4-hour. 4-hour, I'd be looking for a pop back up to about a little bit north of 142 region, somewhere around here, short term, very, very likely, and then come back to it after that. Maybe more, but I think that is a relatively likely move right there. Just kind of playing the bounce off of your higher term time frame levels, but you're not going to see that on a low term time frame like this, which is why I would suggest an awareness of the higher term time frame ranges, because that's going to matter a lot for something that's extremely fucking volatile like this heavenly piece of technology. This very heavenly piece of technology. Long term, I actually still think that this one's fine. Again, as long as it remains above this last like $1 low right here, I think it's okay. All right, sweet. Let's see, Mr. Demovsky, how you doing, brother? Aave USD daily and 12-hour on Binance. Okay, Aave USD, huh? No, this one's popular, and I think this one actually had a good day yesterday, if I remember. Yeah, it did. Hey, not bad. I'm bullish on this, man. Very good, very fucking good. This one's breaking a new all-time highs. It is literally resolving the prior formation this week. I'd be looking, or we don't even need this right now. Let's just we just need two trend lines right here. And you want right there, there's your breakout, there's your range lows. We can come up with a few targets to the upside from this region, and this one looks pretty fucking good, actually. Short, or I wouldn't say short term, but medium term, I'd be looking at a target somewhere around 700 to 730. Long term, could it potentially do more? Yes, but I'd look for that target first. Weekly, looking for the TSI to cross back up. If that does happen, I'd extend those targets to the next major regions, which I think is like, let's just see, that would be in the 800s, but again, a little bit of patience here. Weekly RSI, very fucking good. Playing out the hidden bullish divergence. I like this one a lot. I actually like this, best chart we've seen all day, actually. Very, very good chart. Very powerful, fresh breakout right here. Looks good. Looks very good, in fact. Okay, cool. Dear Lord. Bruh. Dear Lord, man. Nice. All right. Actually, there's a couple of good charts in crypto today. Hey, what's up, Hambone? Morning, Krown. Hey, man, my favorite poop coin, B Pro USD on the daily, weekly. Okay, let's see what we got. Pro US derp. Yep, okay, we got it over here on Derpcoin. And what do we have? This one actually looks rather similar to me, to the last one that we just looked at, in fact, as it does base off of the same sort of range lows, similar to Bitcoin, similar to a lot of the other ones that we looked at. And you got a lot of obvious things going on right now. Daily TSI is about to turn up with any sort of a closure above 0.01, let's just call it 129. So very close right there. And daily RSI getting back above the getting back above the exponential here, plus rejecting the bearish control zone. That actually speaks for itself rather well. I'd be looking for this one to, at the very least, retest the top side of the short-term range here at about, what is this, 150, or no, this is USD, about 1.5 cent region. And then technically speaking, any sort of a break above there, on a daily closing basis, you can make that maybe 1.6 if you want to be a little bit more conservative here. I'd actually target a move back up towards 2.8 region. Back up here, and that's going to start to look really, really good. So, another chart that's actually setting up rather well. Again, I'm very hesitant to get like super bearish here just yet. We played out the move on Bitcoin, and I think now's the time to be a little bit more lenient across the board right now until proven otherwise, specifically on Bitcoin for the criteria that we set out earlier. Until that happens, I just don't necessarily, I just don't think it's wise to kind of front run a macro reversal in this market, especially. Hey, what's up, Derek? There he is. Opposite of hype is FUD. Yeah, there you go. The FUD. Goddamn FUDders. Fucking FUDders trying to accumulate my Dogecoins low. Fuckers. It's FUD, man. I love seeing that. It's like, guys, it's just a bunch of FUD. It's like the US has banned Bitcoin. Guys, just FUD. It's just some FUD, okay? It's like, what the fuck? That seems like a really legitimate concern, actually. What the fuck? Just a bunch of FUD. It's like as if it doesn't matter. It's like, what the fuck? I love seeing that shit. That's that one, and also it's not a loss until you sell. Those are my two favorite fucking memes of all time. It's great, man. It's just completely the worst way to be thinking in my experience. That is a good road to getting your account wrecked in my experience, because I've actually done that myself. Donaldo Armand, Mr. Armand around the world, TRB short and medium term, please wake up Elsa, and with gentle singing. She's here, man, but she's got some allergies too, and currently blowing her nose, it sounds like. Blowing the old horn there. Okay, so I think you're talking about this. So it's some sort of a crypto. You're looking at short, medium term, not a whole hell of a lot. Oh, actually, no, we do have decent history here. This is a weekly. Good. Again, you're getting that first pullback after the macro breakout. Typically speaking, these are obvious, bounce areas. Same shit that we saw on Ethereum, same shit that we saw on Bitcoin, same thing that we're seeing on Litecoin right now as well. I'd give it a chance, man. I do not get bearish on this one, especially as long as it's closing daily dollars above about $96.50. And the nice thing about this right here, this is actually the way that I prefer to trade, is on the edge of ranges here. So it's not necessarily guaranteed to bounce up here. Obviously, in this case, obviously it is. But more importantly, the reason why I like these trades, because you don't have to risk all that much to figure out if you're going to be right or wrong on these trades, as you have an obvious risk management point below this this breakout trend line right here. Very, very simple stuff. So I'd be looking for this one to trade a little bit sideways on the daily. Short-term 4-hour, I'd be looking for it to pop back up to like 115, 116-ish region. And that seems like all that you're asking for. Actually, bounce off the 200 exponential average down here as well. Classic shit, yeah. Back above 120, essentially the 21 right here. And I'd be looking for this one to actually carry out some more medium-term upside to probably even 140-ish region. And probably even more of time, but you did not ask about that, so fair enough. Mr. Dota Ted Wom, Mr. Wom, I'm calling you Wom, man. Sorry, it's just, look, I was born in America. We're very uneducated, ill-educated. yeah, that's the right terminology. And my American tongue cannot say some of these words. But I'll do my best, sir. It's not with disrespect that I say that. Okay, anyways, you are asking about KSM. Yeah, we can look at KSM, but you do not include a base pairing. You do not include a time frame. So I'm just going to go to the USD pairing, and I'm going to go to the daily here as well. I like this chart, man. Again, one of the best charts that we've seen today as well. Very similar to the OV8 one that we saw earlier. Very fucking good here. Going for a fresh breakout. Volume is supporting this, and we have an obvious range right here. I like this, man. I like this a lot, actually. So it's very good to see actually things in this market bifurcate themselves. And I'd be looking for a short-term target of about 650. Okay, I wouldn't say short-term, but medium-term target of 650. Very likely a short-term pullback from there. Long term, could potentially have some $850 to $900 targets, but I'd like to see this one follow through first. I really like daily right here. Daily TSI turning up above the zero buy zone. Daily BBWP is an expansive territory within the context of a break to the upside. I'd be looking for this one to carry on onwards and upwards, actually. And daily RSI is actually quite healthy there too. And even daily Jewel is supporting some more upside continuation here. So yeah, I like it. I'm never going to hate anything that's at all-time highs, of course. So with that in mind, yeah, man, very good chart. One of the best charts we've seen today, in line with symbol AAVE. Oh dear Lord, I just lost my my spot once again. Okay, got to scroll back up to the comments here. Oh fuck my asshole, man. Okay, let's see. Okay, actually I found it. Okay, sweet. All right, we're good. Hambone Crypto says XRP USD 4-hour daily. We already kind of looked at that one. I don't have anything new to say about it. I'd be looking for a bounce here. Short term, probably back up to about 145 to 150-ish region. As long as it remains above the 55 at 119 to 120, I am actually looking for a bullish resolution of this long term, but that is long term, which I'm not so certain that you're interested in. 4-hour, short term, I'd be looking about 145, maybe even 150. Above there, I'd extend the run to basically the top side of the range, and that's gonna start to look pretty damn good. Bless you, sir. And also 4-hour TSI could very easily turn up above 147, but that is admittedly a little bit further away. So yes, above this region right here, actually momentum would turn back up with price action, and I'd actually extend those targets all the way to 160, 165. But first and foremost, I'd want to see this area hit right here and see how it responds there. Okay, sweet. Debble R, dear heavenly crypto father, sir. I cannot claim divinity, sir. Although I have beaten Divinity Original Sin 2, one of the best games of all time. Does shitcoin TA bring you any joy? It brings me more joy in a bear market because it's fucking hilarious. But in a bull market, man, I mean, you know, you might as well just be a monkey throwing darts at a checkered board and just invest in these ones, essentially. Well, assuming that they, you know, were born in like 2020 or even 2021, especially the newer that they are, the better, typically speaking. Anyways, okay, you're talking about MLN USD Kraken, okay? Weekly and daily. All right, 4-hour looks like it wants some downside back down to 105, but that's not what you asked for. You asked for daily. Daily does look a little bit more downside imposed here, to be fair. At least another test down to that short-term area that I looked at just a second ago. Anywhere around the 55 here would be fine. Now, I've been doing a lot of diagonal trend lines today. That is not... I really dislike diagonal trend lines. In fact, I mean, even horizontal certainly have, you know, their own trials and tribulations as well, but at least, you know, you can base a trading plan off them in my experience and be successful over time. Diagonals, not a huge fan of them, but in these sort of reaccumulation formations, they're naturally going to come about as you do get your higher low structure. And in this case right here, I'd be looking for a short-term downside move, yes, but I also would be looking for a bounce off that region as well. You also asked about a weekly here too. Weekly I like. Again, you know, it's kind of the same thing where you do get that new all-time high and then you're getting your first pullback right here. Typically speaking, you know, that low is going to be a bit of a long-term base scenario. So fair enough. Again, to kind of like wrap it up, short term, yes, downside, but I would be looking for a bounce off that region, and I would still remain actually long-term bullish on this one, assuming that, again, it holds above the 55 right here, which is crawling above 98 bucks right now. Soon enough, it'll be actually at 100, so that would be a nice base long-term, and, well, at that point, you know, it's a reaccumulation formation at the top of your fucking... At the top of your all-time high as well. I mean, that is typically going to lead to continuation to new all-time highs, but I want to see it hold that region for a little bit longer. It's probably going to take its time, if anything. Just, you know, very similar to Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin just, you know, takes its time in this region for right now. Mr. Bruno has, oh god damn it, Bruno, where's my text, sir? You didn't include it. DG Vinci, DG. I'm not sure. Okay, maybe that's just the. Oh, this one right here. Okay, so you're talking about. Okay, so you're not talking about Dollar General, because I actually used to trade this one on Arca. I don't actually trade it a lot, to be fair, but you're talking about this one right here specifically. Good chart, very good chart actually. Breaking above the range highs, actually, and again, another example of what we've been looking at several times in the crypto space here. You have a break above your range highs right here. It retests it back right here. It's an obvious trade typically in these situations. You have an obvious risk management point below the low of the 10th of May low, which is 92.08. And until that happens, I just favor the upside, man. I just favor the upside here. Looking for a move probably a little bit north of $100. That is the weekly specifically. Now the daily, yeah, looks like it's put in a higher low after the big breakout, and daily RSI supports that. Yeah, I'd actually do like this one here. Let's see. Let me just make sure that I got. Oh, you're talking about monthly. Okay, let's go look at the monthly too. Actually didn't do any of the time frames you wanted. So shame on me. Monthly looks like it wants 100. Monthly RSI very healthy. That rejection of the bearish control zone is telling in and of itself. Monthly TSI popping above the zero buy zone. Yeah, I like it. I like it for another try to the upside. Mr. Toby1 Hexobi. Toby1 Hexobi. Oh, man. How you doing, brother? OG Jewel and TA Owner. What's up, man? Would love your take on Hex. It's been my biggest gainer ever and lots of upside to go. Thanks. Well, if you want my take on it, but you already have your own take, it sounds like, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't take my take on it. Let's see. Okay, we can look at it versus USD, I'm guessing is what you want to see, and we'll go to HIP BTC. Do I think that it has more upside? I mean, the monthly looks good, but that is a monthly after all. The weekly looks good. Yeah. Do I think that has more upside? Yes. I said this last week, and I'd say it again this week. I'm still looking at deeper targets of about 7.5, maybe even 8 cents. But I would be looking for, greater pullbacks off those regions there. Actually, we're already getting our pullback off the 618 there. That's 6.6. So I'd look for the next sort of drive to be towards that territory. Yeah. Daily's still good. However, this one is really fucking close here, I'd say. So Toby1, I would say maybe it does have a little more to the upside here, but I do think it's actually time to be cautious on this one. And the daily is getting pretty damn extended. Daily BBWP is very, very close to 100 percentile, although still a few more to go there, but I'd keep a keen eye on that. The second that starts to hit 100 percentile, I'd really consider, maybe maybe taking some of those major profits that I assume that you do have, because this thing's just been straight up, really, realistically. Nice one. Jonathan Briggs says, what up, Krown? How you doing, man? Thanks, brother. That's awesome. Okay, you want to look at Holochain USD on the daily and weekly? Okay, all right, let's see it. Symbol HOT, I believe, versus US DERP over here. We'll go to Binance on this one, and you want daily, weekly. Okay, daily. Daily's a bit of a breakdown here. Actually, I do not like the daily or what the daily's doing. But within the context of this market, do I think that this one's going to break down while the other ones probably play out a little bit of a bounce? Probably not. No. Weekly's bounced off the 21. I'm inclined to go with the weekly here. It's a little more of an obvious chart, to be fair. And the daily, let's see if it broke the range on the 4-hour. Actually did not. So this one, kind of a funny chart in that sense. You kind of do have to go through all the different time frames, because be very easy to get shaken out of this one. But in this case right here, I actually would just mark off the last low structure on the 4-hour, not the daily in this case. And I'd say that this is your continuation point for the downside. In fact, I'd actually just move it up to the last sort of 4-hour low right here. Short term though, I do think that it bounces back up to about what is this, 1.25, one, maybe even as much as 1.3 over time. But let's see, what are you looking? Oh, you're looking at daily, weekly. Okay. But weekly, I'm inclined to be looking at this bounce to play up. Probably plays between the 21 and the 10 simple for now. And seeing as we just tested 21, I'd be looking for a test to the upside first, and then come back to it after that. Daily is actually a little more of a difficult chart here, but again, I'd be looking probably for daily to over the next few days to try and move towards like 1.315 region, and then come back to it after that. Above one spot 65 cent, I'm bullish. Sir, put the goddamn dishes down and fucking smash them over your face, please, too. And there we go. No. Stop it. Cut it out. Keenan Bryan says, I wonder if Omar sold his Walden chain on the dump today. Can you please take a look at LRC USD Binance on the daily, please? Sure, man. LRC USD daily Binance. Jesus Christ, the fucking dish is just absolutely wrecking my mind right now. Looking good actually here. I do like this LRC chart. I think someone called it out a couple days ago too. It actually is showing some good signs here. Yes, I'm sure that some people. What the fuck? Elsa's assaulting me. I'm being assaulted by a fucking Finn. This is bullying. Anyways, yeah, looking at this right here, I know that a lot of people are going to be looking at this as a shooting star dildo. I don't look at it as such. I look at this as an illiquid shitcoin. Is what I look at it as. Playing above all major moving averages. While they do have positive slopes here, I'm not bearish on this, man. I'm looking for this to pop back up towards the range highs at about 75 cents. Does this one continue over time? I don't know if I'd say that just yet. Over time, I'm not a huge fan of this chart on the weekly, but on the daily, I do think it gets another try up there. If you start to break above there, 77.5 cents, or what was it, 77 cent, whatever the fuck it is, right around 77. That's at the point when I start to look for new all-time highs. But until that happens, a bit of a range here, and I'll be looking for a test towards the highs here. And momentum oscillators do support that. Daily TSI, given the go ahead on the pass above the zero bias read, and then daily RSI, very healthy right here, rejecting the bearish control zone and head towards the bullish control zone. I do like that. If that happens simultaneously alongside a test up here, I'd be looking at that as a very good signal. This one actually will resolve this one to the upside, and you probably do get to test prior all-time highs somewhere around about 139, 140-ish region. It's actually decent there. Okay, aliens. Aliens Immigrants 88 says, link 4 hour and daily. I'm an OG of the cave, my fucking man. Never really had the chance to say how incredibly informative. Hey, appreciate that, man. You know, it's always really cool to see like people who have been here for a while. It's really, really awesome, but feel free to like have a chat, man. You know, it's good for me to, you know, it's good for me too to connect with people that have been here for a long time. Otherwise, just like a very one-sided conversation where I'm pretty much just talking to myself. So anyways, you're asking for a link. You're talking about a 4 hour and daily. I think again, weekly is we really want to be cognizant of this right here. You're getting that first pullback after a breakout from the prior range. Typically speaking, I really like those moves. Again, not because it's guaranteed, but it offers up a very easy way to be managing risk on this one. Below the weekly low right here, which is, you know, quite a big range. But looking at the daily, do I think that it tries the low right here? Yes, I do. A closure above the 21, and I'll target a short-term move back up to 47.5. You know, I don't hate this chart, man. I don't hate this chart at all. In fact, where's our last low here? It's actually all the way here. Okay, so we're not going to have hidden bullish evidence. So that is one knock on this asset right now. But even on the 4 hour, I'd be looking for this one. Yeah, short-term popping back up to 46 and a third, 46.5 region, and then come back to that one as well over time. And again, below about 39.75, that's where things start to get rather nasty. But until that happens, man, I actually favor this as a general continuation here on the long, you know, on the long term. Okay, sweet. Poncho, Mr. Poncho Music is in the house, trying to get my Wyckoff chops up a bit. Wyckoff's actually very, very good, man. I strongly support Wyckoff. I'm not an expert in Wyckoff myself, but I do know the basics, and I know enough to play into my strategies that I typically use. Anyways. Okay, so more out of interest, does Sushi USD look like it's bouncing out of a Wyckoff spring, or am I derp? Okay, let's go pull it up over here. You're looking at Sushi. Actually ate sushi this week. It's really good. It's really awesome. Those Japanese people, they know good food, man. Okay, so is this, and you're looking at a daily probably. If you're looking at a weekly, I mean, you don't need Wyckoff to look at this as, oh, that's fucking bullish, you know, putting in a higher low right here, your first higher low, basically. I mean, it's just continuation is what it is. Be looking for this one to pop back up to 20.5. I don't even need to look at the time frames in this case, but is this one popping above a spring? Yeah, you know, I guess that technically would be your spring right there if you looked at it from that perspective. But again, I don't think you necessarily need to know Wyckoff in this case in order to kind of identify this one properly. This one looks good. We even have some phantom div coming off that last low. I'd be looking for short-term moves back up to the short-term range high right here at about 1840, and then does this one pop up above there over time? I mean, momentum also is certainly support that. We see the same sort of signals here that we saw on several other coins that are continuation moves. Like daily TSI getting into the bullish buy zone, and then daily RSI rejecting the bearish zone, and also plenty of drives of bullish evidence right there. Yeah, if ever the upside here, and personally speaking, I think it's going to break this area to the upside, retest prior highs at 22 3/4 and probably make new all-time highs. You know, for what it's worth, I think a lot of this last move was actually a major opportunity here. I'm not trying to sound like a fucking broken record or anything like that, but you know, it is important to kind of check around the greater sphere of the crypto market because everything mostly does move together. All right, Moon Raccoon, what's up, man? KSM BTC on the 4 hour would be great. All right, let's check it out. KSM BTC. You're looking at 4 hour. Oh, wow. Why are you looking at the fucking 4 hour right here, man? The daily is telling you what you need to know, sir. The daily is telling you, my friend. It is telling you with fucking flying colors right now, too. You got an obvious range. If you got an obvious range, we can make some obvious targets off this one as well. Let's do that. And what do you know? We're at our first sort of targeted region. I'd look for a quick sell. Well, actually, let's see if it already sold off from the one spot 414. Okay, no, it has not just yet. So I would be looking for a bit of a range between the 414 and the 272 here. That's not 0.01, almost even to 0.11. Very just short-term stuff. Long-term, I'd be looking for continuation to your 272 and 414 over here, somewhere around 14 to 14. 14 to 146 region over time, but very, very good. Daily, again, this is that continuation move. This one a little bit more mature than what we've seen in the other ones. Again, crossing above the TSI bullish buy zone. Daily RSI is already there. Yeah, I like this a lot on expanding volatility while also breaking range highs. This is very likely to continue. I do like this chart a lot. Again, I don't know what the fuck this thing is. Don't know what the fuck this thing does, but very fucking good. Very fucking good. Deserves respect. Deserves a lot of respect. Jesus fucking Christ, the goddamn pots and pans have got to stop. It's the nonsense has to stop. A Lombardi says, morning, sir. BNB, USD, Binance Daily. Also, can we take a look at... I'd like to just look at one, sir, if that's cool with you, because we do have a lot of people here, and your boy needs to lift things up and put them down soon enough, too. Looking at the daily here, I think the US dollar pairing's the most relevant. What do we see? Well, do we see anything obvious is the real question. Where's our last high or low on the daily? It's not really right here. Could maybe argue right there. No, I'd say this is your obvious one. Are we making lower lows on RSI already? We are. I'm inclined to say this very likely does put in some mid and bullish evidence here, but that would be a very aggressive call on my behalf, which I typically don't like doing. If we go down to the lower term timeframes, I do think that is warranted, however, at least for short-term continuation of like 640-ish region. Now, what time frame did you ask for here? Oh, you're asking about daily. Wait, am I looking at the right one? Yeah, I am looking at the right one. Daily and weekly. Let's look at the weekly here too. Look, man, I don't hate the weekly. I don't hate the weekly at all, actually. I think the weekly has one more move to the upside and then very likely plays out some major downside. But for right now, yeah, you are going to be creating some bearish divergence on the weekly, no doubt about that. But there's two things that I want to see. I want to see bearish divergence confirmed on the weekly. We won't have that until we confirm a local high here, which we have not done just yet. And on the daily, I want to see BBWP get into the red zone, and we're not even doing that right now. We're trending down right now. So volatility is contracting within the context of a continuation move. I'd probably be looking at that to reaccumulate short term and trying to move to the upside overall. And you have a very obvious basing point here too on the 4-hour 200 simple, right around 570. Let's just call it 580. So what I could say is that as long as it's above there, I do play this one more long term to the upside. Bruno says, hey Krown, please some wisdom on stock DG. Sir, we already looked at that. I caught your first one. You didn't even need to do that again, but fair enough. I'm in for a long-term investment. My 5 years minimum. My average entry is 45 euros. Please monthly and yearly charts. Okay, so you want to go very, very deep there. Let's go DG. All right, you're looking at this one right here, and you're talking about like monthly and yearly. Well, I don't think there's going to be a good yearly on this one unless we have like fucking 30 years of history here, which we actually might. Okay, let's go to the monthly first. Okay, actually, we actually do have a very good history here. Yeah, I don't have anything new to add to this one now, man. I'll still be bullish on this one. Technically speaking, where's your bull trappy area? Let's go suss that one out really, really quickly here. You're already above the wick one. Let's take the daily closing basis one, however, and see where that one measures up. Yeah, it'd be above that region as well. That's actually your prior breakout. I like this one, man. I like this one. I wouldn't look at a yearly. I'd look at a quarterly as the highest. Again, decent chart here. Decent chart for continuation. Hidden bullish divergence off the last low. I'd be looking for at the very least a test of the prior high. Does this one continue on long term? It very likely does, man. I mean, this is a phenomenal chart. This is what you want to see. This is like Microsoft type-esque as it just continues long term to the upside. So yes, I do like it. I'd be looking for a retest of prior highs. Any sort of a monthly closure above $100, you're going to see new all-time highs, and you're probably going to see targets towards, if I had to guess, like 150-ish region plus. So fair enough. Fair enough. I do think that if you're looking for long-term investments, this is the kind of shit that you are looking for. You're looking for things that generally go up. The trend is your friend, my friend. Anyways, Mr. Ciano says, hey, dad, number one dad, baby. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. Are you American, man? It must be late as fuck over there. Holy shit. Elsa can't walk. She's struggling to move around right now. All right, let's see what else we have here. Matthew Dorsey says, bake, please. I can do bake, sure, but the problem is you have no time frames there, sir. So I'm just going to make them up. So hopefully you like them. Let's go to a daily. We don't even have 3 months of history. It looks like shit on the daily. Looks like shit on the 4-hour, but I don't trust this chart, man. I don't have an opinion on the chart that's been around for just a few days here, man. I don't. It's been around for less than a month. If I'm just looking at the daily, I don't like the daily, but look, it's naive to look at this one as contrary to the rest of the market. I think most of the market's in for a bounce here. If I'm just looking at this one, I'd be bearish as fuck, but I don't have an opinion to give to you, man. I don't have an opinion to give. I just don't think that technical analysis is worthwhile in something that's this young. I don't even have like a gun to the head situation. The only obvious thing I'd be looking at is a bounce off the prior ICO low, which is like 420. Four and a quarter or so. Other than that, I have no opinion on this, man. I apologize. I know this is fucking annoying, but I just don't have anything to say about this that I would stand by. More importantly, Dan Daya says, "Hey Grant, what's up, man? Sounds good. Sounds good, brother. Can you kindly take a look at Link USD on the daily and weekly? Yeah, man. We looked at it a little bit earlier. I still kind of like its long-term posturing here. Short term, it's going to range a bit. Probably scare the shit out of a few people. Maybe back down to like 41, 41 and a half region, no problem. But as long as it remains above daily closure, about especially $40, I still like this one long term. Weekly to me is that classic signal of your first retest after the actual break breakout on the macro scale, I usually look at that as an opportunity with a very obvious risk management point below the low of that weekly dildo in this case. So I'd still remain with a $60 target, even a little more than $60 probably over time, but somewhere around, just around $60 kind of where we'd be looking for on this move, maybe for the next few weeks here. All right, sweet. Holy shit, man. We got some spammers here. All good though. We got our lovely moderators keeping everyone in line today. It's beautiful. It's absolutely fucking beautiful. Let's see. Nimbo says fake Satoshi Craig Wright. How dare you say that? You're getting a lawsuit. Launched a lawsuit against 16 Bitcoin developers to retrieve 5.7 billion Bitcoin. He says he lost the private keys to Satoshi, 1 million Bitcoin. What the fuck? This guy Craig Wright Satoshi is look, he's either an evil genius or he's just evil, or I don't know, maybe he's a genius, but from all accounts and from the people that I trust to have like a good opinion on that, they express serious concern with what he says. I don't really have an opinion on it myself. I don't follow the news with that sort of nonsense. I don't want to know. I don't particularly care unless if it affects the market, which I don't think it will. But for those people who are getting sued, I mean, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. Because I actually saw Peter Todd comment on it on Twitter, and Peter Todd is phenomenal. He's extremely brilliant. One of the original core developers, I believe, but he doesn't contribute to code anymore, and he's getting sued, which is really fucking strange. So I'm led to believe, and that guy's a very honest and he comes off as a guy with like extremely strong integrity. So I'd have to say, man, I'd express serious concern with anything that Mr. C says. Ibby says, hey Z's, what's up Z's? Nano daily and 4 hour. Okay, I'm gonna go to the US dollar chart. So seeing as you did not specify, sir, you're saying 4 hour and daily. Weekly's good, daily's good. I'd be looking for daily to pop back up towards 12.5. 4 hour is good. 4 hours good. Actually breaking out right now, man, above the medium term high right here. I like this. And again, you have that same sort of higher low structure right here. I like a lot of these charts, man. I like a lot of these charts, specifically for the altcoins that we looked at today. I'll be looking for a retest of the prior highs on this run. Daily. Is this one at new all-time? Is it? No, it's not actually. So long term, where would I be looking towards? I'd be looking towards the prior all-time high, somewhere around like $17, but I don't know if you're looking like that far out. Could be a long term, or could be very, very long term. That is. All right, bullish Noel. What's up, Noel? I used to have a good friend in college named Noel. Great guy, man. Fucking great guy. Still keep in contact with him every once in a while. MDRR, and this is Medalist Diversified REIT. So this is some sort of real estate ETF, I'm guessing. Terrible, absolutely fucking terrible. I'd be looking for this one to pop back down towards 114. Now I should say, I absolutely despise any charts that look like this, where you see like these little dots everywhere. That just means that this thing does not trade. And I mean, at least for the history that we do have, I mean, you're just getting hidden bearish evidence right there on the gap fill immediately down. Looks to me like sellers are in complete control and they want lower and lower and lower. I'd be looking for another retest of the prior lows here, long term, but you did not give a time frame, so I don't really know where to go with that one. Damiola, Kazim, Mr. Kazim says, hey Krown, Safe Moon, please. Safe Moon? Safe Moon? What the fuck is this, man? Safe Moon, okay. Great. It has a great name. Apparently it's not a TradingView though. Must be too good for TradingView. It must be too good for fucking TradingView, huh? Let's see, maybe if I just type in Moon, it looks like it's not coming up, man. So unfortunately, it looks like TradingView does not host this. I'm led to believe that is the shittiest of shitty altcoins. If it's not on TradingView, that's a pretty bad sign, man. Fucking Dogecoin's on TradingView, and that one doesn't even do anything. Something to think about, man. Mr. Ciano, it could just be that it's also new too, to be fair. Ciano says, yeah, bro, I stay up late for your stream, light up and play some degenerate trades. Lighting up, that's good. Degenerate trades, I don't know if I support that, but hey, man, I wish you well, brother, and hopefully whatever you're looking for, you're getting that, my friend. Hex Pokemon says, Hex USD, I love you too, sir. And actually, your pet rock over here seems to be doing pretty damn well here too. So, again, this is not a commentary on the underlying technology of this thing, but I am bullish on this thing. Now, are there major concerns with this? Yes, they're staring you right in the fucking face, man. Look at this shit right here. Whenever you see something like this, come on, man. It's like, use your fucking brain. But at the same time, does this one have more upside here? Yes, it does. This wasn't a blue sky breakout right now. And I'd be looking for very likely a move towards just around 8 cents or so. you know, short term, is it going to range maybe back down to like 6 cents? Yeah, probably does, but that's only relevant for short term. I don't know if you're looking short term or long term, but medium and long term, I'd actually be looking for this one to give one more try to the upside, somewhere around 8 cents, and then caution times, we'll call it. But for right now, short term, a little bit of a range here. In fact, actually, it looks like it's freshly breaking out of the 618 here. That was your short term structure, so fair enough. It looks like it's ready to move, actually. Well, then we're selling off. Nah, I do like 4 hour momentum also, because we see 4 hour TSI looking like it wants to turn up here above 0.065, will naturally come down on the next tick. Actually is a little bit further away, but we got a lot of ticks to go in the day, and then 4 hour RSI is rather healthy here. I actually really like this this signature here, and holy shit, man, this is whipping around. Oh my god. Okay, this one really is whipping around quite a fair bit, so I'm led to believe that there's like extremely low liquidity in this thing, and it doesn't take all that much to get it moving. So yeah, I'd probably favor a little bit of short-term range, long-term upside continuation. Bob the Builder, what's up, Bob the Builder? I used to know a guy named Bob. He used to try to rape me in a sauna. He used to come up to me and like put his fucking hands in his pants and talk to me, and then he'd say, "Oh, I have to change my pants." And I was like, "What the fuck, man? The fuck are you doing?" The sauna is a very dangerous place if you go to a public one, I'll tell you that. I've been courted by several, well, I don't know their sexuality, but I can only assume, and I've been offered all sorts of things, like having my back shaved, having a free massage, not that, because, you know, it'd be way more awful to like pay to get fucking molested, and I'll just leave it at that. How about that, man? All right, let's see. Any chance at taking a look at CSPR, USD on the 15-minute? On the 15-minute, man, is this desperation time, sir? Hopefully everything's all right over there, man. But yeah, we can look at I suppose. I mean, it's I guess you're trading. I don't even have a 15-minute on here, but I have to go into my other list. You know, it's not that you can't trade a 15-minute, but this is a shitcoin of a chart, man. This is a terrible chart. Now, here's the thing. Do we have that much history? No, we can barely even populate a fucking 10 simple on a 4 hour. Like, do I trust technical analysis on this? No, I don't, man. I don't think I can give you a good opinion on this. If I'm just looking at the 15-minute, I'd be looking for short-term downside back down to 74.5 cents. And, you know, if I had to call it right now, do I think it breaks down from there? Yes, but I don't feel comfortable with that. This is a fucking 15-minute. This thing's barely been around for like a day. So I don't trust this, but if you put a gun to my head, I'd say short-term down, yes. Specifically just off the 15-minute. That's it. Nothing else, man. In fact, I probably shouldn't even say anything about that one. It's way too new. MM says XEM USD. Poloniex. Were you around when Poloniex used to have a troll box? Those were the days. Those were the fucking days. All right, XEM USD. We'll see it over here. We'll go to Poloniex. It's going to have a very, very long-term history of this one. This one's been around for fucking ever. And you're talking about weekly, monthly. Weekly, bless you, sir. Weekly, again, I think it ranges here a little bit. You know, this thing hasn't really followed the rest of the market, so it's certainly on the relatively weak side in comparison to everything else. And actually, oh my god, I still have trend lines that are relevant back to like 2017, 2018. Holy shit. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete them all. We only need a couple for what we're looking at right now. We have this one right here. And we have our range highs right here above this level at about 44.5 cents. I'd be bullish on this one for big moves back into like 70, 75, maybe even a run towards a prior time high over here. But overall, that is going to be mediated by the downside resolution right here, which is about what is this, 27 cents. I want to see a weekly closure below there. You did specifically ask about a weekly and also a monthly, so we'll look at that as well. Let's see if that has anything new to offer. Monthly, again, you know, I do look at this as likely to bounce here first and foremost. Just kind of perusing around here. We don't see actually too much activity from an all-sitter perspective. From a monthly, it's just a little bit too young, in fact. But if we go down to a weekly, it actually does operate okay. Maybe a daily could help us out a bit here too. Yeah, I'd be looking for a bounce here first and foremost, short term. But you're not asking about that. You're asking about long term. I think, you know, again, I look at the last Basin area as a risk management point. You know, you play the formation until that gets taken out. You play the market direction until that gets taken out. Again, this is more or less market analysis rather than a particular shitcoin analysis, which this would never be a shitcoin because Nem Blockchain was a big sponsor of it, and he was, man, I wonder where that guy is right now. Derek, have you ever checked in with him after 2018? That was quite some times. I remember hearing things like 6,000 will never break, Krown. It's like, all right, All right, man. That's never is a terrible word to ever use as a trader. Hey, what's up? The legend Ali Z's. He's back again. Ali is here. He's got the power of Z's. He's wearing a fucking mankini, and he's ready to fucking rock your world with his massive aesthetics. But what does he have here? He says, bruh, my NASDAQ stocks, Apple getting raped doggy style. Yeah, man. So I was actually I wasn't completely wrong on NASDAQ yesterday. I was looking for a bounce off this area. I'd still be looking for the same thing. Actually, just want to do a quick perusal of this. I'd still be looking for a bounce off this region right here. I don't, even if this thing does break down, I don't think it happens like today. At most, I'd be looking for a move down to like 12.7 and probably bounce there. But long term, it's a range right now, and I don't think that this one's like actually topped out just yet. It's got some downside, yes, but probably coming into next week. But looking for a bounce up to like 13,450. Anyways, you're not asking about that. You're asking about Apple, right? Okay, Apple, and you're talking about. Oh, by the way, Ali, I bet you're happy that you took profit yesterday on those long calls, man. I bet you're very fucking happy about that. Anyways, looking at this right here, what do we see? Okay, so we do still see, we actually see something really similar to a lot of the cryptos here. If you are plotting in diagonals, which I really don't like to do, but in this case, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 tests right there. Kind of have to respect that. It does look like it wants to break down, to be fair. I do not like this on the weekly. Daily, almost always going to bounce off the 200 simple or 200 exponential average. Whether it's 120 or 119, I don't have a strong opinion on, but I would be looking for a bounce anywhere within this region right here. What does a monthly look like? Monthly is still hard to hate here too. I don't hate the monthly as it is. First and foremost, as it is, well, essentially a reaccumulation at a high level. We do have an ascending triangle right here. So you kind of have to respect that, at least as a trader for now. So what I say? All right, what I'd say on this one, I'd actually be long-term bullish on this one as long as it's above 119. But similar to Bitcoin, I think that this one ranges on the high-term time frame lows for a bit. It scares the shit out of you a few more times, but assuming that there's no closure below this level right here, I do think that this one gets reaccumulated and does try again long-term to the upside. But that is long-term after all. Let's see. You did not give a time frame, so I'm not exactly sure where you want me to go with this one. But short term, it very likely does test again to the downside. In fact, looking at the 4 hour right here, I would be looking for this one to come down to like 119-ish region in the short term, and very likely try a bounce there. The reaction after that bounce is the real test. What happens after that is the real test. But for right now, at least give it a chance. I'm always going to favor like a long term, just straight up chart like this, and give it its due respect. As this is extremely impressive right here, going all the way back, for multiple decades. We're talking about all the way back to 81, when this thing was trading at 15 cents. Now at 120 with several splits in between. This is quite the chart here. So is this one getting close to a macro top? Probably yes, but let's see. Where's our BBWP on the monthly? Perhaps actually still trending down here. Oh wow, it is still trending down. Huh. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I'd still favor long-term continuation here, if anything. But again, 119, big area, very big area. All right. Is that it? Are we at the Zur, please? What's up, Derek? What do you got? Is that a ticker? Zur? Z-U-R. Is this a thing? Is this a thing? What the fuck do you have now? Nope, it's not. I've been trolled. I've been fucking trolled again. Let's see. Let me just make sure that everything else is cool over here. Hopefully I didn't... Hey, what's up, Andrew Morrison? All right, we'll do the last one. Hey, what's up, Yasek? Good to see you, brother. Jeff B's in the house as well. Rami as well. Love it. Let's see. Okay. Oh, and Nimbo also has a good question. Okay, so Nimbo's talking about the 2-day and 3-day jewel on Bitcoin. Let's check it out. See what we got over here. All right, so 2-day. Ooh. Okay, this one is concerning. That is a halt of your short signal for the moment. 3-day, not as much. It's just kind of continuation, sloppy. Again, does a 2-day signal play out? Let's see where the daily is for right now. Okay, the daily is kind of switching into a bit of a bearish posturing here. When they all have negative slopes, I don't like that. I really don't like that. It's going to bounce around here a little bit, and the 2-day is actually lining up for continuation signal. What I want to see on the 2-day is this one closed tonight? Probably not. No. Yeah, we just closed last night. It is concerning. Yeah, I'd keep an eye on this one, man. I'd keep an eye on this one. That would probably be my biggest bear case there. Let's see, what does the weekly look like? I remember the weekly sell signal that we got back on over here on 5th of April. That, could we argue that that's played out? We do see a pretty nice downside move from this. Let's see. Yeah, it's a 30% move to the downside, to be fair. I'm inclined to be a little more lenient towards this just because the 3-day and daily are not there just yet. But I'd be extremely concerned, Nimbo. I'd be extremely concerned when the daily and 2-day start to line up with each other. That's where I start to really look at this as likely to come down to, 41 or 42,000 bucks. CME also, let's check it out. All right, what's CME looking like? CME does not have it on the 2-day. That's a very loose thing right there. You did have a signal right here on the 14th of April, but that's certainly already played out. I mean, that was actually on the high. Usually doesn't get the high, but it gets some momentous drop after that. But in this case, what did the daily look like? Daily is a little bit under pressure as well. Yep, all with negative slopes. That's not good. And 3-day is, got a great signal right there. Same thing on the 14th, but I don't think that's relevant to what we're looking at right now. So it's really only on the 2-day for spot price action. I'm inclined to look at that as an isolated event for right now, but if the daily lines up with it, that's going to be concerning. That's going to be very concerning. Hey, what's up, Poria? Hey, yeah, it's been a long time. Tell me, did you buy the biggest teddy bear for Elsa on 20,000? No, man, she's scared. She's scared of the old needle, but perhaps she goes for the moon boobs anyways. We'll let her decide, man. Okay, did I miss anything else? I think we is good off that. Mr. Filson! Mr. Filson! Always good, man. Andrew Morrison says, I remember when this chat barely had 200 people in it. I know, dude. I know. It's I mean, it used to have like fucking 10 people in it. It's just insane. I never intended for this place to get like this size. It's honestly like it's a weird thing to consider, man. I do spend a lot of time thinking about it. Simpson says, hey, Krown, apologies for joining late. All good, man. But this is going to be the last one. Hey, what's up, Ian Terry? If you covered it, XMR USD. Actually, we have not, man. So daily, weekly, yeah, we can do that really quick, and then we'll wrap it, or we'll just sign off here. Okay, Monero. I think we're seeing a very similar thing to what we saw on, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, actually no, not Ripple, but a lot of the other majors. What are you seeing right here? You see a break your all-time high right here. You see that first red dildo down. Typically speaking, I'm going to look at that as an opportunity. 9 times out of 10, that will work in that regard. Does it mean it's always going to work? No, but there's a very easy way to be managing off this sort of position here. And it's just simply put the daily low for actually today, which is 361. So I actually favor short-term and medium-term pop back up towards 460 and probably beyond. Weekly, I think is fine in its current posturing. The only way that I even get short-term, medium-term bearish on this one is if it comes back down below today's daily total low, and then I'd be looking for, a short-term move back down to, or actually more medium-term move back down to about 385, 390, sorry, not 385, 285 to 290-ish region. But for right now, man, no, I'm more inclined to go with the rest of the market. Which has been carrying out very, very similar things to that. I mean, if we go back to Mr. Ethereum over here, you see this going back all the way to the prior all-time high. See this consolidation right after. I mean, typically those first moves down are reaccumulated, and you get another try to the upside after that. So, it's a very, very classic signal. Again, doesn't always work out, but it is pretty easy to play, and more importantly, there's a very obvious risk management area for it as well. Alrighty, fellas, it's been an absolute pleasure, Mr. M. Aurora. All right, last one for M. Aurora. Oh, motherfucker, Stewart. Okay, Matic USD. Oh, Matic USD. You're talking about the hourly. All right, really fucking fast here though, fellas. I do need to get a move on with my own day here too. Let's see. You're specifically asking me about the hourly. Can we go to the 4-hour for by chance? Let's see. I'm just curious where the daily is too. I like the daily. Daily's a lot more obvious than the hourly. Look, the daily very likely does retest prior high and very likely makes new all-time highs at 1.25 region. Hourly, I don't have a strong opinion on this, man. This one can easily come back down to 106, 107 region and bounce there. I don't have a strong opinion on that actually. It's the daily that I have a strong opinion on. This is a breakout right here. Daily RSI, very fucking healthy. I absolutely love that signature right there. Daily TSI crossing back onto the upside, very fucking good. All right, Stuart says Cardano USD daily Binance. Okay, I think I got this one. Maybe. No, I don't. All right, let's just go to this over here. Do this one nice and quick because I think we have not done this one just yet. Very curious to see where this one's at. And what do we see? 4-hour, is it still holding the breakout? I believe it is. Hold on, let's go to the daily first. Yeah, it is. And again, same sort of thing here. That first sort of pullback around your prior break of the topside range. Usually going to be a bounce area, and that's exactly what we're seeing right here. And again, a very, very easy way to be managing this. I'm bullish on this one, still looking at $2 plus targets as long as it is above the daily low side, which is 147 and 35. So overall, man, I favor long-term continuation here still. See what the week looks like. Weekly's still okay. A little bit of a backfill in last weekly open. I'm usually going to look for a bounce there. So I favor that until proven otherwise. Anyways, fellas, that has been it. I want to wish you a happy and healthy rest of your day. It's been an absolute pleasure to be hanging out this lovely Thursday morning with you. And with that said, hopefully see you soon. Take care. And until next time.